Transport in plants. The root hairs are where most water absorption happens. They are long and thin, so they can penetrate between soil particles and they have a large surface area for absorption of water. Water passes from the soil water to the root hair cell's cytoplasm by osmosis. This happens because the soil water has a higher water potential than the root hair cell cytoplasm. Plants absorb water from the soil by osmosis. They absorb mineral ions by active transport against the concentration gradient. Root hair cells are adapted for taking up water and mineral ions by having a large surface area to increase the rate of absorption. They also contain lots of mitochondria, which releases energy from glucose during the respiration in order to provide the energy needed for active transport. The absorbed water is transported through the roots to the rest of the plant where it is used for different purposes. It is a reactant used in photosynthesis. It supports leaves and shoots by keeping the cells rigid. It cools the leaves by evaporation. It transports dissolved mineral around the plant. Transpiration is the evaporation of water at the surfaces of spongy mesophyll cells in leaves, followed by loss of water vapor through the stomata. Evaporation from aerial parts of plant. The diagram shows the water coming from xylem vessels going through the spongy mesophyll cells and out of the plant through the stomata. Transpiration to move water. The first layer of this leaf is known as waxy cuticle. Then comes the upper epidermis, then palisade mesophyll, then spongy mesophyll cell, and lastly lower epidermis. So arrows show the path of water vapor and water. Water continuously moves out of the mesophyll cells to form a thin film of moisture over their surfaces. So here we can see the film of water. So first we can see water coming from palisade mesophyll, then going through the spongy mesophyll cells, and also the water coming out from xylem of veins in the spongy mesophyll layer. Then going through the lower epidermis and going out from the stomata. Transpiration. It is the loss of water vapor from a plant, mainly through the stomata to their leaves. Factors affecting the rate of transpiration: humidity, temperature, wind, and light. Increase in humidity decreases the rate of transpiration as less water will evaporate from it. Means they're both inversely proportional to each other. Increase in temperature will increase the rate of transpiration. Increase in wind speed will increase the rate of evaporation. Increase in light intensity will increase the rate of transpiration. Means these last three factors are directly proportional to the rate of transpiration. Transport of flowering plant. Xylem. It has a long hollow tube stretching from root to the leaf. It is made up of many dead cells. It has two functions: conducting water and mineral salts from roots to stems to leaves, providing mechanical support for the plant because it has lignin. Plants have tissues to transport water, nutrients, and minerals. Xylem transports water and mineral salts from the roots up to other parts of the plant, while phloem transports sucrose and amino acids between the leaves and the other parts of the plant. Mature xylem consists of elongated dead cells arranged end-to-end to form continuous vessels, tubes. Mature xylem vessels. contain no cytoplasm, nucleus, no organelle, are impermeable to water, have tough walls containing a woody material called lignin. Phloem. It conducts manufactured food from green parts of the plant to other parts of the plant. It has sieve tubes, companion cells, sieve plates. So here we can see the diagram for phloem, containing sieve plates, cytoplasm, and companion cells. Phloem consists of living cells arranged end to end. Unlike xylem, phloem vessels contain cytoplasm, and this goes through the holes from one cell to the next. Phloem transports sucrose and amino acids up and down the plant. This is called translocation. In general, this happens between where these substances are made and where they are used or stored. This means, for example, that sucrose is transported from sources in the root to the skin in the leaf in springtime, from sources in the leaves to skin in the root in the summer. Applied chemicals such as pesticides also move through the plant by translocation. Phloem consists of living cells. The cells that make up the phloem are adapted to their function. Sieve tubes, specialized for transport and have no nuclei. Each sieve tube has its cytoplasm connects one cell to the next. Sucrose and amino acids are translocated within the living cytoplasm of the sieve tubes. Companion cells, transport of substances in the phloem requires energy. One or more companion cells attached to each sieve tube provides this energy. A sieve tube is completely dependent on its companion cells. Xylem vessel. So here the first diagram shows us the xylem vessel. So we can see the direction of the flowing of the liquid is only in one direction. Means it is only one way. And water and minerals are transported from this vessel, and no end walls between the cells. So the brown part shown at the edges of this vessel are the thick walls stiffened with lignin. Now the second diagram shows the phloem vessel. In this vessel, the substances can move in two directions. Means there is a two-way flow. Water and food are transported in this phloem vessel. Cells have end walls with penetrations. Now here in figure 9.2, xylem and phloem. So this is basically the cross-section of a root. And here we can see the xylem, which is the red part, and the phloem showed by the green part. Stomata. Stomata are tiny holes found in underside of leaves. They control water loss and gas exchange by opening and closing. They allow water vapor and oxygen out of the leaf and carbon dioxide into the leaf. Plants growing in drier conditions tend to have a small number of tiny stomata and only on their lower leaf surface to save water loss. Most plants regulate the size of stomata with guard cells. Each stomata is surrounded by a pair of sausage-shaped guard cells. In bright light, the guard cells take in water by osmosis and become plump and turgid. In low light, the guard cells lose water and becomes flaccid, causing the stomata to close. The size of stomatal opening is used by the plant to control the rate of transpiration and therefore limit the levels of water loss from the leaf. So the diagram shows the stomata in the day and the shape in the night. So the first showing in the day, where stomata is opened. The guard cells are swollen and turgid, which makes the stomata to open. And at the night, Guard cells are flaccid or shrunken. It causes the stomata to close. So the cell wall is there, vacuole, nucleus, and chloroplast is present in the stomata. Root hairs are single-celled extensions of epidermal cells in the roots. They grow between soil particles and absorb water and minerals from the soil. Water enters the root hair cells by osmosis. This happens because soil water has a higher water potential than cytoplasm of the root hair cell. Minerals enter by active transport. So soil water has higher water potential. Root hair has lower water potential. So the water is moving through osmosis down the concentration gradient. So we can see the water first entering from the soil, then entering the root hair cells, then root cortex cells, and then through the xylem vessels. Water moves through the xylem vessels in a continuous transpiration stream. Root, stem, leaf. Transpiration produces a tension or pull of the water in xylem vessels by the leaves. Water molecules are cohesive, so water is pulled up through the plant. Osmosis causes water to pass into root hair cells, through the root cortex, and into the xylem vessels. The same thing is happening. The water from the root hair cells going through the root cortex cells, then through the xylem vessels. Water moves through the xylem vessels in a continuous transpiration stream. Root to the stem, then to the leaf. Transpiration produces a tension or pull of water in the xylem vessel by the leaf. Water molecules are cohesive, so water is pulled up through the plant. The transpiration steam has several functions. These include transporting mineral ions, providing water to keep cells turgid in order to support the plant, providing water to leaf cells for photosynthesis, keeping the leaves cool by evaporation. The stem has to resist compression, squashing, and bending forces caused by the plant's weight and the wind. The vascular bundles are arranged near the edge of the stem with the phloem on the outside and the xylem on the inside.